Your name and your reason for being here today.
Mrs. Evans, and because someone tried to kill Mr. Henry at my home.
Can you give me an account of what you remember from that night?
Well, there was a party at my house. Everyone was having a great time, or so I thought. The people that were there when the body was discovered were Mr. Bringle, Mr. Burkhart, Mr. Brillhart, Mr. Howard, Mr. Ted Webster, Mrs. Minner, Miss Mikuleski, Mrs. Akins, Mrs. Colley, Mrs. Mice, and Mrs. Webster. I was out back when Henry was hurt. When I came back in the house, I saw Bringle, Mikuleski, and Mrs. Webster standing by the body. Mikuleski was crouched down trying to wake Henry and checking if he was okay. Normally, we're all friends and get along great, but lately, I heard that Henry was having some issues with a few people in the group. For example, Bringle was not happy about these rumors circulating about his uncle. Yes, Henry is Bringle's uncle. Also, Mr. Webster and Henry had been hanging out a lot more lately and with a crowd that the other teachers didn't want to be a part of. Several people were not happy about this, but I think that Mrs. Webster was the most upset. And Mr. Brillhart might take another job. Henry says he's fine with it, but I don't believe him. How could he not be upset? All I know is that I was talking to Minner outside when it happened, so that has to eliminate us as suspects, right? If I were you, I would start looking with Mrs. Webster.
Let us decide where we need to start. Now, seeing as you came into the house pretty soon after the crime happened, was there anything that you noticed as being out of place?
Well, now that you mention it, I normally have a pair of my great grandmother's candlesticks on the table at the top of the stairs. I only remember seeing one, but that doesn't mean anything. Maybe I just didn't see the other one. I was a little more focused on Henry at the time. I also didn't see Mr. Howard or Mr. Webster anywhere during this time.
Thank you, Mrs. Evans. You have been very helpful. We will be talking to all the others and get to the bottom of this. In the meantime, don't talk to any of them and don't leave town.